Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Coppell Chevrolet GMC. And we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Coppell. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Coppell. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at coppellcars.com. You won't believe the discounts. Make that short money-saving drive down 144th Street. You'll be glad you did. Must have trade and finance with roof credit. Stock number G2076684.
We wait all pro football season for the big game. But will you come out on top? Warhorse Festival of Games is putting you at the center of the action with 2 chances to win big. Earn entries for our $100,000 prop card challenge daily at Warhorse Casino Lincoln. Enjoy slots, sports wagering, and horse racing. Then make your picks about the big game to be eligible to win. Qualifying entries will also be put in the running for your share of the $20,000 grand prize drawing. Increase your luck for the drawing by playing free online games on the Festival of Games website. Skip the trip to Vegas and get in on the big game right here at Lincoln's favorite place to play. And if that's not enough, our $1 million bracket challenge for college basketball is coming soon. Full details are online at warhorsecasino.com. Warhorse Casino Lincoln, just minutes from downtown at Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Why not today? Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella. Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator. Buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Electrical Enterprises in Roca reminds you, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. Their commitment and courage keep our country safe and strong. We appreciate their bravery. Let us honor those who've lost their lives in the line of duty and salute those serving today. From Electrical Enterprises in Roca, for your residential and commercial electrical construction needs, call 402-438-5822. Wishing you and yours a happy and healthy new year.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. It's been an exciting day. Gosh. It's been an exciting day today as the announcement is public, so we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can.
We are the official flagship station for the Omaha Supernovas.
Was that like last week? You were like, "Oh, we should talk to the Supernovas. We should talk more."
I was like, we should get this done.
Yeah, you're just saying it. I was like, yeah, maybe we will. I don't know.
Nonetheless,
it's exciting.
Yeah,
man.
no, it is exciting. It's an exciting time. January 24th, just 14 days away. It's gonna come up quick. So, nonetheless, 402-464-5685. The Honda of Lincoln hotline and the Sartor Heyman text line are open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Sartor Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo channel 961, available statewide on our airwaves. Now, I will say, just as a little PSA, it's my last show for a while. I'm heading out of town.
If you haven't noticed, well, you can't really tell. I guess you can't tell on the video.
I don't think you can tell as much.
Well, look at it
on the
You're
video.
100%.
No. I look like Elmer Glue right there. I look like Elmer's.
I don't know why it's so bright.
I'm not sure either, but you cannot tell there. You can tell in person.
Yeah, you can tell.
But,
so on the stream, on this one, you can tell a little bit.
Yeah.
If you haven't been able to tell, Nick's got a little bit of color.
I do.
A little bit of color in his face.
Yeah.
Because Nick is prepared to head to somewhere a
lot
lot
warmer.
sunnier and a lot warmer
There
than
you go.
here.
A little closer to the equator.
Just a bit.
Just a bit.
No, he's not going to Ecuador.
Nope. I'm not going to the equator either.
That'd be cool.
Nonetheless, so I will be out for about a week. A little over a week.
Starting after today.
Yeah. This is my last show until the 22nd.
So you'll get a lot of Austin and myself. We'll bring in Bach from time to time.
Rico's going to be doing the drive with AD and Raph.
So tune into that because it's going to be so much better.
It is. It probably will be. You guys always make jokes to replace me.
100%.
Go ahead.
100%.
There's your green light.
We're going to call Nick.
No, you are not.
Yeah, we are. You're not. You might not answer.
I am not answering.
But we're going to try.
But I'm good. I'm not going to answer.
Once. Middle of the week.
Maybe. I'll allow it.
Okay. I'll call you next Tuesday. Or I'll call you this coming Tuesday.
Okay.
Sound good?
I'm not sure if
the
people I'm with will appreciate. Okay, the person I'm with will appreciate me calling into work.
What time zone are you in?
Same.
Central?
Keeps the same. Yep.
We're going to call you on Tuesday at 1:15.
Okay.
Make a note in your phone.
I will.
Make an alarm.
Make an alarm.
We're going to call you. We're going to open up the show. We're going to talk a little bit. And then,
I might be snorkeling at that time.
And then we're going to call you. Don't snorkel at 1:15.
I got a waterproof case. We're all good.
Oh, yeah.
So
Answer the phone.
I'm in the ocean. Nonetheless, it's going to be a good time. But no, I will miss all the guys here. Appreciate.
Make it sound like you're leaving forever.
I know. I appreciate Rico, Austin, all the people making. Josh Lil is going to be covering high school basketball while I'm gone. We're still going to have 4 high school basketball games over the course of the time that I'm gone. So make sure you still tune into those. A lot of good matchups. Class A, we're going to have our first Class B matchup of the season as well out at Norris High School. So we'll have that coming up in about a week or so. But yeah, so shout out to all of them for taking my spots while I'm gone.
Hey, you know what though? Nebraska Basketball knew you were leaving.
Hey, and
they wanted to send you out on a high note.
And they couldn't have done it any better.
They knew they were like, Nick's gonna be gone after this game.
Yeah.
So you know what? Let's send him off with a win.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it was good to catch up with Derek Walker pregame.
Yeah.
It was good to catch up with D-Walk. It's been obviously about a little over a year since we got to see D-Walk in action. So yeah, it'd be good to see Derek the game last night, and Nebraska basketball, which we're going to talk plenty about. We'll probably go a little bit shorter in this segment here, just to give us a large Husker basketball segment in the middle of the show, because we do have some transfer portal news.
Yeah, it's hold on, let me see if I can get this. I know I have it. Here we go.
So this came across the wire, if you will, that Nebraska is adding an offensive lineman to their room.
That's good.
Donovan Raiola gets an addition in the form of a name that you might remember from last year.
What?
And that is Micah Mazuka. Micah Mazuka is going to officially join the Huskers. You may remember him. He was previously at Baylor, and then he ended up transferring last year to Florida.
Yes.
And now he's back in the portal, and he's coming to Nebraska for his final year of eligibility. So Nebraska gets an experienced offensive lineman in the form of 6'5", 330-pound Micah Mazuka.
That's a big boy.
There he is. So Micah Mazuka is going to join the Huskers. This is a big get. Like Nebraska, don't forget, it was really strange, the whole process. It was about a year ago today, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
So it was kind of crazy because I was actually in Kansas City at this time to celebrate one of my best friends getting married. And I remember going to the grocery store on a morning, and it was Walter Rouse has committed to Nebraska.
Yep.
Micah Mazuka is not going to commit to Nebraska. And then when in reality we thought, oh, Micah Mazuka is going to come to Nebraska. Walter Rouse is probably not going to.
Yep.
The exact opposite happened
For a little bit.
for a couple of hours. And then Walter Rouse flips it up again. And Nebraska goes over.
I think I still have the screenshot of his commitment.
Yeah. I mean, strange. I would be curious. We could probably find this out really quickly. What day Walter Rouse committed to Nebraska?
Ooh.
Walter Rouse.
I know. I might have deleted it.
Commits to Nebraska. I mean, because somebody has to have the screenshot.
Somebody has it.
Oh, how about this? A year ago from tomorrow.
Oh,
January. I knew it was around this
close.
time. I knew it was around this time that so Rouse whittled down his finalists to Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Iowa before giving his verbal commitment to the Huskers on January 11th. That verbal pledge lasted all but a few days before Rouse flipped his commitment to the Sooners.
Screenshots live forever.
There it is. So January 11th, 2023, Walter Rouse ended up committing to Nebraska. And then
Micah
there it is.
Mazuka was not.
Micah Mazuka did not.
Because there was a thought that Nebraska was going to get Mazuka, not Rouse. And then Rouse commits. And then they were like, oh, maybe they'll get both of them.
Yeah.
And then Rouse flips. And then Mazuka commits to Florida. I don't remember when he committed to Florida, but then he commits to Florida.
Yeah.
And then it was just up. Nebraska just went over in the transfer portal for two big offensive linemen that really would have helped. You would have gotten a tackle and a guard in that one, and it would have at the time you thought, oh man, those guys are going to be, game changers for the program, for the quarterback, to protect the quarterback. But now look, you lose, you return both of your tackles. Both of them?
Yes.
Because so Teddy and Bryce, you return your center, but you lose both of your guards.
Mm-hmm.
And now you bring in Micah Mazuka, who at the time was described to us as a road grader of an offensive guard. Right. You bring him in. He's an immediate, just a plug and play guy. Again, an experienced guy who started at Baylor, went to Florida for a year, and is now going to finish his college career up at Nebraska. You plug him into whatever side of the offensive line at guard, and then you're just looking to fill that other spot. I mean, the offensive line, that sounds pretty nice to protect old Dylan Raiola.
How about this? So I'm looking up Walter Rouse, because don't forget, this was one of the most experienced offensive linemen in the portal
out of Stanford, right?
Which made him so valuable, because it was like an offensive lineman. Offensive linemen in general are hot commodities, mm-hmm. because there's so few. I mean, like insanely talented guys, and so they're so valuable that a program like Nebraska, to be honest, isn't usually in the actual running, mm-hmm. isn't in the full running, right? And that's fine, but Nebraska found themselves in the running with Walter Rouse, and from what we all could tell, did everything they needed to do. Mm-hmm. It was everything was out of their control, and so much so that he eventually gave a verbal pledge for a time being. Well, then, don't forget, he was just like, listen, I think at Oklahoma I can get ready for the NFL draft. I think I can get in a better spot for NFL draft, because that was also another one of the potential options was Nebraska, Iowa, Oklahoma, or go to the NFL draft.
Yep.
And so I'm looking, all right, what's his draft projection? Undrafted free agent. Undrafted free agent. That's down from what he was after Stanford.
He was a late round guy.
Not great. It's a bummer. Like it is
sucks.
Because
you never root for anybody to fail.
Well, no. And I think also you don't want to see anybody be like, yeah, I'm going to go back to college to help my draft stock, and then it actually hurts it.
Slightly tank it.
Well, pretty much. I mean, tank it.
You tanked it.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about. But no, Micah Mazuka, once again, name familiar to Husker fans, is going to officially join Nebraska's roster next year. That offensive line room that is losing. Obviously, Nuri Nuili is one of them. Mazuka is one of those, was the offensive lineman once again listed at 6'5", 330. He played at Baylor, played at Florida, and is now going to be at Nebraska. So Nebraska, when you look at that offensive line here, you're going to have, in some form or fashion, Teddy Prohaska.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume Micah Mazuka takes that
On the left
spot
side?
for Nuri.
Yeah.
And then Ben Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Then right guard, you'll have who's that right guard? Somebody in Bryce Benhart. I don't know why I'm blanking on right guard.
Well, because they lost.
It was
right
it was
guard.
Ethan. It
was Ethan Piper.
Yep.
But then he got hurt.
Text line would be able to help us out on depth.
They
chart.
had Justin Evans Jenkins was there.
Yep.
But he's the backup center. So I assume that they'll keep him at backup center and slide somebody else into the right guard position.
So
I know they switched Michichak from defensive to offensive line. So he's flipping sides of the ball.
I was wrong. Nuri was on right guard.
Was he? Okay.
But so you had Turner Corcoran at left tackle or Teddy Prohaska, Ethan Piper at left guard, Ben Scott, Nuri, Bryce. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
You also have Henry Latovsky, who can play some guard.
He was swapping.
You also have Turner Corcoran that can play all five.
Yeah, he was. Henry was swapping in and out with Nuri for a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Turner's back, right?
Yes, they're all of them are back except Nuri. Except for Nuri, because that's why it was also shocking that Ben Scott was returning.
Yeah. So in a way, because to me, Turner Corcoran's a better guard than he is a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get a fully healthy Prohaska, slide him in at left tackle. That also
stays healthy.
That can stay healthy. You slide him in at left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
You have Corcoran at left guard, Ben Scott at center, Mazuka at right guard, Bryce Benhart at right tackle. First off, that is a veteran offensive line.
Well, and so how about this? We got a couple texts in all caps. All caps.
Ooh.
Grant Bricks will be a starter. And this is where Nebraska's needed to get to. Before they say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I do agree that Grant Bricks, the Gibson Piles of the world,
very talented.
They're going to be a starter. Just might not be in 2024 and might be okay not having them be a starter in 2024.
So
because that's where Nebraska hasn't been. Nebraska hasn't been in a position with the offensive line room specifically where incoming recruits can sit and can develop both on and off the field being in the weight room mostly, to where in their second or even third year, they're ready to go. Now, with all things understanding and considering, if Grant Bricks comes in, wins the job, then yeah, you give it to him. I'm not saying don't give him a fair shot, but Nebraska in years past, with the Turner Corcorans, with the Bryce Benharts of the world, they have set their program, set that offensive line room back for what feels like so far because they were forced. They were forced
to play them
as freshmen, despite how high their ranking was.
I don't want Grant Bricks to start as a freshman. And I know how that sounds, but it's kind of what you were just saying. I want the offensive line and the guys that are on it right now to be better than an incoming freshman. I want him to have to sit for at least a year to learn and get bigger, stronger, faster, and be able to compete with the college guys at this level, with the Big Ten guys at this level, before you slide him in as a true freshman on the offensive line. To me, the offensive and defensive line, as a freshman, I know how this is going to sound. I don't think you should start as a freshman because you aren't ready size-wise to compete with those guys. Some guys are. Some guys are freaks of nature and are. But with the guys that we just named on that offensive line, with the veteran presence that offensive line has, I don't want Bricks to slide in there and play right away.
I think also Nebraska, their offensive line wasn't atrocious this last season.
No.
Their offensive line wasn't atrocious. You have a couple of guys kind of waiting in the wings, and those couple of guys are Gunnar Gatula, Sam Sledge is also there. We talked about him at Chichek, and Henry Latovsky still, right? How about this? So Nebraska, obviously, if you're just now joining us, gets the commitment from the transfer portal in form of offensive lineman Micah Mazuka. Florida's strength coach earlier in the season was asked, what type of guy is Micah Mazuka? And he replied with 2 words, and because one is hyphenated.
Okay.
Bare knuckle brawler.
Ooh.
Bare knuckle brawler. And how about this? There was a game where Florida played Tennessee this year with 4 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Micah Mazuka squared up and threw a punch at a Tennessee player. Backs it up.
Okay.
Bare knuckle brawler. Not in a good way.
Okay. Love it. Can't have it.
There it is. That's the key. Can't have
Love it.
Cannot
Love
have
it. Don't do it again.
Don't do it again. We like the video. It's fine.
Big fan of
the bare knuckle brawler.
in the intensity and the want to, but also don't.
We don't need it. We don't need punches thrown. So there you go. Micah Mazuka going to be a Husker for his final season of eligibility. That's that. I mean, perfect example, I guess, of maintaining relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Nebraska doesn't get his commitment the first time around. They are in a spot where, yeah, we can take him. We can still utilize Micah Mazuka.
The thing is, they didn't need him. They didn't need him.
They could have used him.
No, you can use. I'm saying you don't. No, I'm saying for this year, this coming year, like you don't need him. You have an offensive line where you're missing one spot, and you have a ton of guys who would be able to fill that spot. You didn't need him necessarily, but it's always nice to have him.
Added depth. We see what depth does, right? In the form of Nebraska beating number 1 Purdue. Hello. Let's talk about it. Let's dive all in on Nebraska basketball. It's time to get excited. Maybe we purchase our March Madness tickets.
Careful.
We'll talk about it. We'll dive into it. Nebraska defeats Purdue 88-72 last night. Puts a stomping on the Boilermakers. That train is not working today for the Boilermakers. We're out of here. Let's take a break. Coming back next with the happy hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
We wait all pro football season for the big game. But will you come out on top? Warhorse Festival of Games is putting you at the center of the action with 2 chances to win big. Earn entries for our $100,000 prop card challenge daily at Warhorse Casino Lincoln. Enjoy slots, sports wagering, and horse racing. Then make your picks about the big game to be eligible to win. Qualifying entries will also be put in the running for your share of the $20,000 grand prize drawing. Increase your luck for the drawing by playing free online games on the Festival of Games website. Skip the trip to Vegas and get in on the big game right here at Lincoln's favorite place to play. And if that's not enough, our $1 million bracket challenge for college basketball is coming soon. Full details are online at warhorsecasino.com. Warhorse Casino Lincoln, just minutes from downtown at Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Why not today? Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Husker fans, your 4th-ranked Nebraska wrestling team needs you to pack the Bob Devaney Sports Center on Friday, January 12th for their Big Ten home opener and a top 5 matchup against number 2 Iowa. The duel will begin at 6:30, and the first 300 fans will receive a Nebraska wrestling shirt. For more information or to secure your tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella. Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator. Buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
If Ewers throws that ball to the front pylon, Texas might have tied that game up and had a chance to win it.
That moment right there, it's one of those moments that every young man dreams about. There's two outcomes in that moment. You're a gamer or you tense up.
You're a gamer or you're a goner.
Or you're a goner.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
This isn't the real Caesar's Palace, is it?
What do you mean?
Did Caesar live here?
No.
I didn't think so.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Careful now.
Welcome back in. Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick, Rico, and Austin with you. We're sitting here. Yes, Austin joined us. Hello, Austin.
Hey, guys.
He's joining us just to talk hoops because Austin's a big basketball guy.
So I've been
and
told.
There's a lot of Husker basketball to discuss. We are curious. Strick gets mad at us sometimes because we don't invite him in for, well, that's wrong because we always invite Strick. And we always want Strick to join us. But he gets mad when we don't tell him about the crossover happening.
Even though it happens at basically the same time every day.
Every single time at the same day. So there you go. Strick, we're just waiting for him to turn around and be like, wait, you didn't tell me we were coming in for the crossover? When it's really only 1:30.
Surprise!
Once again, 402-464-5685. The Honda Lincoln Hotline and the Starter Heyman text line are open for you guys. How about this? Before we get to Husker basketball, a shocker in Seattle, says Adam Schefter.
Just saw that.
Pete Carroll is expected to be out as the Seahawks head coach. He could still remain in the organization, but not as the head coach. So Pete Carroll expected to be relieved of his head coaching duties. So now, help me out, guys. The jobs that are open, the Bears have decided to stick with Matt Eberflus
for whatever reason.
So the jobs that are open are the Chargers, the Seahawks, the Raiders, because they got an interim guy. The, don't tell me, Panthers. Panthers are open. And then I'm missing one more.
Two more.
There's a potential one.
Washington.
Okay, now two more.
Now two more.
Is Rivera gone?
Yep.
Ron Rivera's
officially
gone.
Felt like he'd been gone all year, but finally happened on Monday.
Yeah. Especially. Arthur Smith. I keep wanting to say Arthur. Arthur Smith from the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, poor Archer.
Isn't it Arthur? Is it Archer? I don't know. I know it's Art Satowski.
I don't think there's an H.
Anyway, then there's one more.
No, it is Arthur.
Okay, it's Arthur.
I like Archer.
Then there's one more.
There's the
maybe the
potential
biggest
of New
shock
England.
before Seattle.
Ooh, who is it?
There's a potential in New England. It's not official. They're not
Is
sure.
that
yet.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. That's
Tennessee.
right. Vrabel. That's right.
That one was weird.
Yeah. So there you go. Best job available in your guys' mind.
Seattle.
Interesting. Even without, I mean, I would lean Los Angeles because you have a quarterback. Although I believe Justin Herbert is a tad overrated.
This is kind of the Syracuse-Boise conversation again.
Okay. Explain.
Well, the Chargers are second fiddle, right? It's the Rams city after it's the Dodgers city after it's the Lakers city. So, and you're in the AFC West, right?
Yep.
Denver might have gotten some things figured out. The Raiders ticked up under Antonio Pierce, and the Chiefs are going to be better next year than they were this year. I don't want to be in a division with Patrick Mahomes. Does that make me a scaredy cat, a wuss? Maybe, but I think that's a tougher job than. I would rather take on San Francisco because one or two injuries and they're done. I think there's more staying power among the bottom of the AFC West than the bottom of the NFC West. So I think Seattle can make that climb to consistent number 2, overtake San Fran sometimes. Weather's not as good. Talent base is fine, but not where the Chargers should be hypothetically. But I think the Chargers' job is the splash job. I think Seattle, I don't know why Seattle's not like the Pittsburgh of the Northwest,
where they're just kind of always
solid.
There.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it's Atlanta. They need a quarterback. They have a decent defense. You have Bijan Robinson on a rookie deal. You have Drake London.
Amen.
You have the wide receiving core. You have Kyle Pitts at tight end. You have literally everything you need to be a successful franchise except a quarterback.
If you want the cleanest slate, you probably go to Tennessee. They're probably in the midst of blowing up mode.
Well,
Derrick Henry's leaving.
He's gone. They're going to get rid of Tannehill for the contract for more money. Like when you go to Tennessee, you have free reign for whatever. And I feel like I know their owner is going to be more patient than the Panthers owner. You're going to get more than a year.
Which is funny because their owner said, just like a month ago, they were happy with Vrabel. He wasn't the problem. They were keeping him. And then all of a sudden something changed.
It's weird.
Well, did you see that they were thinking about trading Vrabel? And then they basically admitted it's going to take too much work. So we're not going to do it.
Trading coaches is weird.
So weird.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, they were like, we thought about trading Vrabel.
The fact that you can be traded as a head coach, how does that work? Like, you're leading all of these men. You're the leader. And all of a sudden it's just like, hey, we're sending you over here now. Like, what?
Well, here's a question. Okay. Just hypothetical situation here. And this would be really interesting. Would the Bears trade their number 1 pick for Vrabel?
No.
Wow.
No. You don't trade a number 1 overall. What you do is you trade a number 1 to get more picks, not a head coach. There's not a single head coach in the NFL right now worthy of number 1 overall pick.
Okay.
Maybe not even a first rounder.
I mean, think about that. Cause I just think back to what Denver gave to just talk to Sean Payton. And
that's great.
I mean, he wasn't an active head coach at the time.
Nope. Are they going back on their whole cutting Russell Wilson thing?
There's no way you can go back after that.
Not
are
after
they
the way they handled it.
Attempting to.
I don't know why they're waiting. But
if I'm Russ, I'm saying just get it done.
I don't know why you would even. There's no. First off, you don't have a pick high enough to get one of the better quarterbacks unless you feel like somebody who's going to fall to you is going to be good enough to be your leader as a rookie. And the free agent class for quarterbacks this year is not great. It's a step above garbage. It's not great.
Yeah. I mean, so Tennessee's blowing that whole thing up. Tannehill needed to play well in their last game, or their 2 games ago when he started, because that was his opportunity to show other teams I can still play.
Oh, I forgot Will Levis is there.
Will Levis is there. So is Malik Willis, but both of them are bad.
I
don't know. Like, that's the thing. So you look at, I mean,
just like I like Desmond.
They did him so dirty.
I like Desmond Ridder. Sad.
Ritter is the weird quarterback that's so good in the intermediate range, but is not great close to the line of scrimmage and not great deep.
Yep.
Like those are the money throws. Those middle throws are like top tier quarterback throws. You can make them consistently.
What, 10 to 20?
But to miss the layups and the shots, but hit those throws, that's just confounding.
You give him 10 to 20, he's money.
Mm-hmm.
Anything farther,
timing.
anything shorter, not a chance.
He's DeMar DeRozan. That's who he is. He's DeMar DeRozan.
That's a good one.
Come on, man. So
he's a MIDI master.
We can look at the top 10. The top 10 picks in the NFL draft: Bears, Commanders, Patriots, Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Titans, Falcons, Bears, Jets. Okay. You go up and down that list, right? The Falcons need a quarterback at 8. They're not going to get one at 8.
They'll get one, but they won't get.
Well, it's reaching up. That's over top. You don't want to reach in the first round when you can get the same guy in the second round.
Is Penix a reach at 8?
I was going to say of the
injury, man.
Is Daniels a reach at 8?
Will he be available?
I don't think he'll be available.
Is Bo Nix a reach at 8?
Yes.
I love him, but yes,
he's older.
He's a first round guy, but he's like late. If you like a guy that maybe you're like, we could use him.
Is Bo Nix better than Kenny Pickett?
Yes.
Bo Nix feels like around like pick 20. And a big part of why is because the wide receiver class is so strong this year. Wide receiver class is loaded. And
you need a playmaker.
It's crazy because we always have the conversations of like skill positions you can find, anywhere from rounds 1 to 5. Frankly, you can find guys sometimes. Isaiah Pacheco, perfect example, right? Where you can find some skill guys in the 6th and 7th rounds and be okay. Now, when you look at the wide receivers, obviously it's like Marvin Harrison, it's Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze. I mean, you're talking about those 3 guys will probably go in the top 10, which is crazy. Brock Bowers is probably going to go in the top 10. You have 3 quarterbacks that will probably go in the top 10 in May, Williams, and Jaden Daniels, wherever he falls. Or Penix. I don't think you put Penix above Jaden Daniels.
I think Penix is going to be penalized for Bryce Young.
What do you mean?
Okay.
I think that if Bryce Young had been a little more successful in his first year, Michael Penix would have been taken top 10, top 15. But I think a lot of people said, oh, yep, it was Bryce's size. He's too small to succeed. And they'll hold that against Penix.
Yeah,
too.
I would agree.
To me, it's the injuries. Just year after year after year.
He
but again, injuries relate to size.
Yeah, had 2 healthy years, and you see what he can. That's the thing is you see what he can do when he's healthy.
I think, but so I mean, think about this though, guys. We're accustomed to seeing defensive linemen, offensive linemen, linebackers go top 10. That's not the case this year. I think you're gonna have that hold on, I have his
Olu
name pulled up.
Fashanu.
Yes, Olu Fashanu from Penn State go, who's an offensive lineman, and then the Dallas Turner from Bama, and then probably the offensive lineman from Notre Dame, Joe Alt. You're probably going to have those are going to be your 3 non-skill position guys that are taken this year in the top 10.
Isn't Kool-Aid McKinstry, was he looked at as top 10 or top like 15, 25?
First round.
Fringe
He's a first. Okay.
Yeah, fringe first.
I was just saying, because we're talking about top 10, and we just mentioned wide receivers, quarterbacks, and a tight end. We haven't mentioned an offensive, like until now. We weren't mentioning offensive, defensive line, linebackers, defensive backs. I know running backs usually don't go first round. I don't think there's one in this class.
No, not that level.
But just all of these different positions, but we're like, oh no, top 10 is 3 offensive positions.
One of the most confounding things to me about how we view recruiting and then Michigan's national championship win is they have like 14 guys projected to be drafted, but how many of them go in the first round? Like 1 or 2?
Yeah.
It's Chris Jenkins.
Yeah.
Probably. And then from there, you're trending toward, day 2 already. So that's I think a huge testament to, despite, everything else with Michigan, there's not a surefire best player in college football at their position on Michigan's team. It's just a lot of really good, really solid players, 1 to 22.
I mean, JJ McCarthy, will they have him as the 8th? Mel Kiper has him as the 8th best quarterback in this class.
So
Blake Corum obviously he's a running back, so he's not first round, which I don't know about. Well, he's not, but I don't like the whole running backs don't go first round. It just feels terrible.
I mean, look, they took the chance on Najee. Pittsburgh took the chance on Najee Harris. Yes.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
Bijan, yeah. But those guys do
everything
well. And so like there's very few of those guys where last year in the top 12 picks, right? I think Bijan was taken at 7th and Jameer was taken at 12 because the Lions then traded back. Now
for Jack Campbell, right?
Yeah. Yep. Jack Campbell, yes, because Sam Laporta was 3rd round, I believe.
Gorilla Bird, Braylon Allen.
Jonathan Taylor was a 2nd rounder.
Jonathan Taylor was a 2nd rounder. But no, here's my point though, is those guys do a lot well. Like the pass catching is there, the willingness to pick up a block is there, the ability to also run in between the tackles, like not in space is there, like the physical piece of it. Unless Bijan gets the headaches, unfortunately. But no, so I'm looking at like just mock drafts here.
Is Keon? We forgot Keon Coleman. Did we
Keon
mention him?
Coleman,
that's what I'm going to talk about.
Good call.
That's what I'm going to talk about with wide receivers. I'm going to list off, and this comes from CBS Sports. Take away the order, take away the mock draft.
Yeah.
The names that they're saying that are going to be picked in the first round. And I mean, maybe you take away one in reality. But here's the deal. So it's obviously Marvin Harrison Jr. You have Malik Neighbors from LSU, Rome Odunze from Washington. If you want to count, like Brock Bowers just feels like a hybrid guy, but he's listed as a tight end. So Keon Coleman, Adonai Mitchell.
He just declared yesterday, right?
Yes, he did. And then there is one more, I believe. Okay,
Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes, Brian Thomas Jr. So six
wide receivers in the first round.
6 wideouts in the first round.
32.
You're probably gonna have at least 3 quarterbacks go in the first round.
9.
So there's 9 of your 32 are quarterback or wide receiver.
Brock Bowers. We'll just give him hybrid / tight end.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about 25% or more of your first round selections are going to be at the quarterback or wide receiver position. So then it begs the question, right? What do the Chicago Bears do? Because I'm fascinated with the Chicago Bears right now. They've stuck with Matt Eberflus. They've fired basically everybody else. They fired offensive and defensive coordinator.
It's just funny.
And then, but so now here's the thing. Do they keep and stay at number 1 to draft Caleb Williams? Or do we see them make a trade with Washington at number 2? They fall back to number 2, maybe get another 3rd round pick for it, whatever that case may be. Because Washington is, in my opinion, much more in need of a quarterback than Chicago is. And we see Chicago take Marvin Harrison at number 2. Because then you're talking, sorry to interrupt you, Rico.
No, you're good.
Then you're talking Marvin Harrison on one side, DJ Moore on the other, fresh start with a new offensive coordinator. And don't forget, you have the 8th overall pick already.
I was going to say, if you're Chicago, do you maybe try and go a little further down to get more picks? And again, with a wide receiver heavy class, I understand you want Marvin Harrison Jr., but with all of these talented wide receivers, just go a little bit further down to get, again, maybe because you said you get like a 6 whatever round picks or whatever. Again, if you're going from 1 to 2, you're going to get a couple picks. It's not going to be like, oh, we'll give you another first round and a second round. You'll get some like a 3rd, 4th, whatever.
I think there's the lineage factor that goes with Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, there's
that makes him so intriguing.
But look, you have Marvin Harrison, Rome Odunze, all of those other guys, and it's just like there's so many wide receivers. If you can go a little bit further down and get more picks, and maybe even sneak in a player at a position that you might need, that might help you.
I think we have that conversation if they don't have the 8th overall.
Right. I think if you're the Bears, making one trade is not really worth it. Right. Going from 1 to 2, whatever. If you're going to go from 1 to 2, why not go from 1 to 2 to 6 or 12, something like that, and then really blow it all up, because they're more than just one piece away. Right. Yeah. Caleb Williams, Drake May, both good. Marvin Harrison Jr., good. Having watched the Colts and grown up on Peyton and Marvin Sr., his dad was just a quiet killer, right? You could see the fire, you could see the intensity. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is a baller. I just don't know if he's the gamer to the same level as his dad. I don't always see that same intensity from him, even underneath the helmet. So I'm not questioning his talent, right? It's there. But sometimes I wonder, like, if he gets jammed a little bit too much, is he going to keep trying to get off the ball, or is he done? I just don't know. So I'm not as sold on Marvin Harrison Jr. as the surefire number 1 receiver in this class, because there are so many good ones.
How about this? This could also play a factor into it. Signing bonus. slot value, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at number 1 overall, Chicago, the signing bonus value is a little over 24. A little over 24 mil.
You're not paying a wide receiver that.
If you can move down to, I don't know, Minnesota. I mean, does Minnesota need a quarterback?
Minnesota's
if you make multiple trades like you're insinuating, Austin, you could move down to 8th or 9th and pay, or excuse me, 8th or 9th, and your signing bonus value goes down about $11.5 million.
Atlanta's interesting because do they want Justin Fields from Chicago or do they want their own guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think each of those top 3 have the argument to take a quarterback. The Giants don't. The Jets don't. No. So I think really if Atlanta doesn't want, to draft a quarterback, I think you could potentially get there so they can go get another receiver, get another, maybe even like a Fashanu up at that point. Otherwise, you're looking at that 11, 12 range if you're the Bears.
With Atlanta, again, you're going to have a new coach. Why not tie yourself to a quarterback? And usually that gives you a longer runway. It didn't. It didn't in Carolina, but usually that gives you a longer
Frank
runway.
dirty.
They did.
Dave Tepper's a problem.
Yeah. Problem. He's a problem.
Problem is an understatement.
Matchup problem.
Yeah. Quick wrist. Anyway, let's
strong wrist.
Yeah. Let's take a break. We were supposed to talk hoops.
Yeah, we were.
We're saving it for Stricky, right?
Oh yeah. Somebody get Stricky. Get him in here.
Yeah, get him in
let's
here.
take a break.
Shout out to Pete Carroll. Oh, by the way, Pete Carroll might be out in Seattle. That's how this all started.
Yeah. Let's talk to Strick coming up next. We'll talk a little Husker hoops. Get you ready for On the Block. It's my last segment until the 22nd. So don't worry, I'll be back. We'll be right back.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Individuals' finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting mainly sunny skies to start, then a chance of snow this afternoon. We'll see a high around 34. Tonight, a slight chance of snow early, then mainly clear skies. We'll see a low of around 11. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies to start, then snow likely in the afternoon. It'll be windy too. We'll see a high of around 17. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clucker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I could write a commercial telling you how great waffle weekends are at the chocolate season. Or I could just have Rico read you the menu.
Banana Nutella topped Belgian waffle with homemade whipped cream, chocolate chips, and freshly sliced bananas. Baconator, buttermilk waffle with bacon slices tucked inside, topped with salted whipped butter, caramelized pecans, and pure maple syrup.
Waffle weekend brunches at the chocolate season.
PB&J.
40th and Old Cheney or online at thechocolateseason.com.
Husker fans, your fourth-ranked Nebraska wrestling team needs you to pack the Bob Devaney Sports Center on Friday, January 12th for their Big Ten home opener and a top 5 matchup against number 2 Iowa. The duel will begin at 6:30, and the first 300 fans will receive a Nebraska wrestling shirt. For more information or to secure your tickets, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Ironhide Construction is hiring. They're looking for hardworking, self-motivated individuals who are team players. Ironhide Construction has openings for an experienced project manager, estimator, apprentice, skilled laborer, and erector or installer. They will train the right people and make sure you understand the position and requirements. At Ironhide Construction, it's own it, be honest, and do it right. Apply today and learn more about their other benefits at ironhideconstruction.com, where they're committed to you every step of the way.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
We wait all pro football season for the big game. But will you come out on top? Warhorse Festival of Games is putting you at the center of the action with 2 chances to win big. Earn entries for our $100,000 prop card challenge daily at Warhorse Casino Lincoln. Enjoy slots, sports wagering, and horse racing. Then make your picks about the big game to be eligible to win. Qualifying entries will also be put in the running for your share of the $20,000 grand prize drawing. Increase your luck for the drawing by playing free online games on the Festival of Games website. Skip the trip to Vegas and get in on the big game right here at Lincoln's favorite place to play. And if that's not enough, our $1 Million Bracket Challenge for college basketball is coming soon. Full details are online at warhorsecasino.com. Warhorse Casino Lincoln, just minutes from downtown at Highway 77 and West Denton Road. Why not today? Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico, I want to ask you this publicly.
What? What, Nick?
Nick, speak up. We can't hear you.
What do you want to ask
What's
me?
going on,
Nick, speak up.
Nick.
Where'd Nick go?
He's talking, but we...
They do me dirty. I wanted to ask you this publicly, Rico.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Being realistic.
Okay.
How much are you going to miss me? I didn't want to ask you during the commercial break because you would give the honest answer in the commercial break that it'd be about a 7.
No, I wouldn't.
But I'm curious what you tell the people.
How much am I going to miss you? Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, how much am I going to, like, give me, like,
here's
what
the
do you
thing.
mean miss you?
I'll be honest. And this is how I feel, is that since we have a small staff, right? Doing big things.
Yes.
Small staff. When somebody's gone,
yeah,
it feels different.
It's going to be weird.
It just feels different. Like when you take Rico's Weeko, it feels different. When Austin was gone a week for paternity stuff, it felt different.
Baby Herbie.
Yeah. Like, how much is it gonna? How much are you gonna miss me?
I don't know if I'm gonna miss you per se, but it's gonna be weird.
That's all I need to know.
It's gonna be weird.
Yeah,
That's all I need to know.
The real Rico comes out.
I all of a sudden,
Double R.
All of a sudden, I only feel bad for leaving Stricken Austin.
I don't know if
The
I'm
real
gonna miss
Rico.
you per se,
The
but
real
it's gonna be really weird not having you.
Thank you.
Because missing,
I'm gonna miss you, Nick.
Because
Thanks,
missing you would mean that I'd have to like you first.
See, I knew that was coming. That's all it takes. It's just little jabs.
2024, the worst. Remember we had the vote of the worst 93 century. 93.
Yeah.
2024.
What? What'd you have?
Nothing. We didn't have anything.
What'd you have?
We didn't have anything, man.
Nothing going on.
Okay.
Don't worry about
Hey,
it.
Strick. Strick.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just the man sitting in the mirror.
No, Strick. You having you having an affinity for losers is not like you.
Oh, well, hey, who won in picks?
You know what's crazy is whenever Rico does the picks, he never keeps.
That's true.
Them.
That's true. Mostly because you were actually here and we were waiting for you to come in and you never did.
I was in a meeting.
But am I wrong? The
Actually,
guy who puts it together
I was in a meeting.
was here
for something we
He
announced
was
today.
in the building, but he didn't. I didn't have the picks because he didn't come in. I don't know.
Anyway, Sean P from Eagle says Sean P from Eagle says Rico is the little ball of hate.
That's true. That's true.
Stricky's face.
That's true.
I
There's
am
a lot
not,
of hate built up in here.
I am not leaving. I am not leaving. Just vacation.
Yeah, leaving.
Yeah,
He's leaving
He got
for vacation.
making my way downtown, walking fast, faces fast, and I'm homebound. Anyway, guys, let's talk Husker hoops.
That's why I don't
Okay.
like him because we get along so well.
let's talk Husker hoops. Nebraska basketball, 88-72 over the Boilermakers. Stricky, you and I watched the game together. You were on the post game. We talked a little bit about it this morning as well. Rico, I know you've been able to discuss it. Austin,
We haven't heard from Austin.
thoughts?
88-72 seemed like a familiar score. You get beat 88-72 on the road at Wisconsin. You turn around, you beat Purdue by that much. There were a few moments in there it could have gotten hairy, but this is where, again, I think the veteran nature of Nebraska's team showed through, right?
Yeah.
Purdue goes up in the first half. It's okay. Nebraska, got out to a hot start, had its run. It was fun while it lasted. Purdue's going to, keep Nebraska at arm's length. It didn't happen. You have the 2 threes from Casey and the 7 points from Sam Hoiberg at the end of the first half. Needed.
Yeah.
Completely necessary. Nebraska doesn't win that game without those 7 points from Sam.
The confidence.
Right. And then, Stricky, I need to give you full props on this. The CJ Wilcher run. He goes off for what? I think 11 of the 13 points there. And you were saying he has found his groove in that 6th man role. You talk about the personal side of sports all the time during On the Block. I think Fred Hoiberg and his staff have connected so well with CJ Wilcher, got his confidence up. And we see, an 8+ point run from CJ Wilcher basically every game now.
We do.
There it is. No need to be said. Just
Rico, do you have any thoughts after that?
Not a single one.
Stricky, did you say that yesterday?
I've been saying that
There you go.
All year.
consistently. The thing is that the communication between the coaches are starting to get through in different ways, individually, collectively, after certain wins, after certain losses. You can tell that they're using these specific moments in time to give coaching moments, to give learning moments, and to have them to be able to take some of the onus of it and understand from it where now I can coach you better or I can coach you differently. And you can see the changes and the transformations of it because the activity and the way that they were rotating was way more crisp than it was at Wisconsin. It was just way more crisp.
It just felt like as generic, and I hate using this, like the cliches, like they had the edge that we always talk about, right? They had it. And we also have started to see where Austin, this is what I told Strick last night, and I feel like I've repeated myself about 12 times, but I've told people in different
13?
conversations, is that like we wanted to go into that game yesterday being like, all right, you've been able to keep and hold Ryder and Stony Brook and Duquesne at arm's length, and you did it against Indiana, who was a step up from those. Well, now last night you had to step up, and did you let it get back to one at one point? Yes, you did. But how'd you respond to that? And they responded. They got out back by double digits, and it was never really in doubt. Like Strick and I were up there.
Lead changes.
Yeah, like Strick and I were up there like, oh man, they just got to hold on 4 more minutes. Hold on for 4 more minutes. And you kind of saw the game within the game with rotations with Hoiberg being like, all right, we're going to throw in Josiah Alec, who had 4 fouls for a chunk of the game. Josiah Alec goes in towards the last, like it was in that like 3.5 to 5 minute span. that allowed Rink Mast, who had done a lot for you, to get fresh legs. I think Rink checked back in
like 250 or 240?
Yeah, it was like 223 or 230 in the game.
They were like, "Hey, finish this
and
game."
It was like Rink's got fresh legs while Purdue was gassed. You could really sense that.
They didn't have the depth.
Yeah.
They didn't have the same depth that Nebraska had.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Purdue played 10 guys.
Yeah.
Nebraska played 8.
Yeah.
And Nebraska was still fresh.
That was what's crazy.
Still freshman.
Because when we were sitting here yesterday, you were saying Matar, Eli Rice, and we're all sitting here like, there's a spot for those guys tonight. They didn't see them. And it was incredible because Nebraska, but then also we saw that how it's like, that's what momentum plays give you. They give you extra juice. They get you and discipline, right? And probably feeding off the crowd a little bit. And I understand that. But like I'm sitting here going, dang, man, like if you're able to get that from CJ Wilcher, 16, I said it yesterday, you can't let the bench for Purdue outscore you. And they didn't. Nebraska did a very nice job. They held Fletcher Lawyer in check. They held, after Gillis started 4 for 4, he struggled then. They made adjustments, and like that's what you wanted to see out of the half. It was like Strick and I were talking, like, all right, you got to punch. And Nebraska missed opportunities. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. Gave up the first 4 points in the second half.
Don't get it twisted. Nebraska very well could have / should have won that game by 20.
Easy.
They should have won that game by more than 20.
Yeah.
And but they were still able to keep them at arm's length to where Purdue, it felt like you were trying to come back on Purdue. That's what last night felt like. Was Purdue was trying to come back on itself. You saw it in the previous game against Illinois. Illinois got down early, and then they started figuring some things out, tried to get back into it, and Purdue just never let them have it. That's what a good basketball team does. But guess what? Nebraska did that exact same thing yesterday. They forced and tried to get Purdue to come back on Purdue, and they couldn't do it.
And one thing we talked about when we were up in the media section as well, and we may get back into this same conversation, but we talked about the fact that when the game gets under 5 minutes and a team is down, how much pressure it becomes on shots.
Oh, yeah.
It's a whole different pressure than if they're up or if they were up on Nebraska, them shots are a lot more freer, a lot more easy, a lot more calm. But when you've got to make this shot. You saw them shots were coming up short and
every shot feels like you're giving up points if you miss. Like you miss the shot and you feel like, oh, they just scored again. Like that's what it feels like when you're down and trying to get back. But when is the last time Nebraska had, because Rink Mast, you're dumping it off to him in the post against Zach Edey, and he's going to work. Like he's not, starting to, pass there. And look, this is no diss to Derek Walker, who was there, who, look, again, like I said earlier, last year, it was kind of the same thing. They just couldn't finish the game where Derek Walker's just going in the chest, playing physical against Zach Edey. Rink Mast is doing the same thing, but he's going to work in the post with his footwork. And that's a guy where you're just like, look, here you go, man. Go to work.
I thought it was awesome to see Strick. We talked about Nebraska, pulling out all the stops for Purdue, being creative. First play of the game, what do? They invert their normal action, put Jawan in Rink's spot, Rink in Jawan's spot.
It's crazy.
Make Edey guard on the perimeter, pop the three.
It's
then,
crazy
late
what
in the
you
game.
said. Yeah.
You have Bryce Williams get the switch, take Edey into that deep water, knuckle sandwich, right? And then the last one that sticks out to me, they finally get Edey all the way out past the 3-point line. Purdue's got to press, little fake. You see the handle of Rink Mast all the way to the rim. They had that man in hell.
Well, it's funny that you brought that up, because I said it the second that Rink hit that 3 to start the game. I said they did that on purpose, because if you as soon as Rink, and that was why,
and he had to hit it
and
for it
why
to work. He had to hit it.
And that's why Rink's perimeter shooting, and Alec, who hit one yesterday, like that's why their perimeter shooting is so important for Nebraska's success this season, because if they're able to draw the big man out, then the back cuts with CJ Wilcher on an unbelievable find by Rink Mast to CJ Wilcher.
I saw that, and I
my goodness.
I know Strick loved that.
Well, it was that, and then there was also one.
His leg hurts from that.
There was also one later in the game where Casey threw it out of bounds, trying to get it to Rink Mast. And Strick and I both were like, he should have bounced past it. Like it was open.
It was the play. It was the right play.
Like, that's the thing. Those are going to be like the learning curves, right? Yeah. But like if Nebraska can force big guys to come out to where they're uncomfortable,
then Nebraska's going to, then we're going to start to see Casey's backdoor. We're going to start to see Jawan Gary's backdoor down the baseline. Like things like that are going to come to fruition if they continue to play well. Like Nebraska did their job yesterday. Now it's going to be different. Looking ahead here before we get out of here, looking ahead on paper, Nebraska's in a position where they should beat Iowa Rutgers. They should.
Mm-hmm.
How do they react when they're not in a position they're accustomed to being in very often? Iowa realizes, and Iowa's fans realize, this team just beat the number one team in the country. Same with Rutgers. And the more and more that Nebraska wins, the more difficult it will be to win on the road. So Nebraska has to get these. They have to get these. I said something earlier today. How about this statistic? John Templon of NIT, he mentioned, or he sent out a tweet this morning that said, and he's very well versed in the NIT bracketology world. He said that the Huskers have a greater than 70% chance to make the NCAA tournament after last night's win. Everything that's out that's there for you is for the taking for Nebraska. How do you respond? We've seen them respond well after 2 disappointing losses. How do you respond after the biggest win in decades?
Right. You saw Nebraska do a great job of responding after Michigan State into Kansas State.
Yep.
That was with a week off, though.
It was.
Right. You had time. You have a 2-day prep. You're on the road in Iowa City where they don't like you. In fact, they probably hate you, which is a big deal. The thing about this win is I've been tweeting out every time there's a bracketology update where different projectors have Nebraska. They're all over the board. There was one place that had him in the 8-9 matchup. Another place had him as in the 6-11. Another had him as a 12 seed. I thought going into this game, Nebraska's resume was much closer to that 11 or 12 line. This is a win that gets you in consideration for the 8. This is a signature statement win that you can hang your hat on. And you have Wisconsin coming to town. And you have a solid Northwestern team coming to town. You get Ohio State twice. You go to Illinois, who we'll see what they look like. There's still more opportunities out there, which is why I love Bryce Williams' quote. We don't practice just to beat Purdue. This is a fantastic statement, win that gets Nebraska the bump I think it needed. But now there's still more out on the table.
Yeah.
Go take advantage. Go
get
eat.
it. How about this? We got about a minute left in the show. Husker bowling. 1 hour ago, they faced off against number 2 Vanderbilt. Perfect 300 game.
Hell yeah.
Wow. For Nebraska bowling. Nebraska bowling
Shout out.
bowls a 300 in game 5 for the 3-2 match lead. They beat Vanderbilt 4-2 in the best of 7. Number 2 Vanderbilt, that is, once again, like I said, with that 300 in there. Big
couple nights
for
the Huskers.
A huge shout out to Paul Klempa. All right, that is it for us here on the Happy Hour. Don't go anywhere. Good stuff coming up on the block with Strick and Austin. I will talk to you guys in about a week and a half. Rico will be back with you tomorrow. Thanks to Austin for filling in, and thanks to Rico and all the guys for helping out while I am gone. We'll talk to you guys soon. See ya.
Hey, Nick, you get to say it this time.
Adios.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Sandhills Global is hiring. With their fast-paced, growing culture, they have hundreds of new openings in sales, marketing, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Full-time roles offer a 4.5-day work week, along with flexible internships in most areas. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Find your fit today at www.sandhills.jobs.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and we'd like to say thank you for a record-setting 2023. So let's start off 2024 with the bang. They've got huge trade-in bonuses and finance bonusing happening right now on our new inventory at Koppel. Get up to $8,500 off select new models at Koppel. So if you're shopping for a new GM product, go to our website at koppelcars.com.